If you've ever felt like your voice doesn't matter, like you're too much, too sensitive, too real for this world, you're in the right place, and this is for you. Before we dive in, I just want to acknowledge that it has been a while since I shared an episode here. Becoming a father, navigating this identity shift I've been going through, clarifying who I'm really here to serve, it's all been part of a necessary, deep, and profound recalibration. If you're watching this or listening to this, then you are meant to be here. It is a solo episode, and I'm going to unpack what I've been learning, support on your own journey of finding your voice, of showing up more fully in the world, of stepping out with more confidence, grace, joy, love. The crazy thing about this is that those of us who feel fear around sharing our voices are the ones whose voices are really needed right now. I don't remember the quote exactly, but it was something like, idiots have so much confidence while people who have real value question themselves a lot. The cost of you not sharing your voice with the world it's almost like we are fruit trees. And if we don't do the work necessary to grow the fruit that we are here to bring, we deny the entire world this unique, delicious, juicy facet of life that could nourish and nurture hungry people who are wandering in the desert and who need that sustenance. So not only that, but imagine that fruit tree, how it feels to be dry and desiccated and not putting forth fruit that it was meant to bring into this world. It's almost like the divine is this gardener who's planting these incredible seeds, each one completely unique and beautiful, which is what you are, what we are, and has this desire to witness that blossoming and that fruiting of that tree. And when that doesn't happen, it's absolutely heartbreaking. And it's actually one of the two primary needs that every human has. Gabor Mate talks about this, that authenticity is one of the primary human needs. It's not just a nice to have. It's not just like, oh, well, it would be cool if I could be authentic, but I guess I don't get to do that. It's one of the two primary needs. But the other need, I think, is for safety. And if we don't get safety, we will compromise and sacrifice authenticity to get that safety. And how many of us had to do that as children growing up, sacrifice our authenticity so that we could stay safe. And what did that do? It created a pattern inside of ourselves. And that pattern has led us to this point now where we are safe technically, but we don't know what that feels like inside of our bodies, inside of our beings, inside of the stories we tell ourselves in our heads. And so that authenticity has become harder and harder. That expression of the true voice has become less and less available. But that can change, I promise you. Why am I sharing all this with you right now? Because I have been going through this exact thing myself very recently. And I do think life works in spirals. So we get given these lessons again and again and again. It's not like, oh, I learned that once and now everything's fine. And I've been having it come up so strongly, as you will know if you've been listening to the podcast, or if not, welcome. But I am a transformational guide, a coach. This is something that I avoided for many years. I was a professional singer-songwriter for 10 years. I did all kinds of odd jobs before that. And I always had this call to step in as a facilitator, as a guide, as a supporter of others on this path of transformation. And I avoided it to the best of my ability for a really long time, till I finally had this whole dark night of the soul, all the things fell apart, etc., etc. Since choosing this path more consciously, things have been different in a really positive way. And yet there continues to be a challenge in my life around stability, consistency, showing up, and knowing what to focus on any given day. I have so many passions, so many interests. I feel so much about so many things, and I get pulled in many directions. The invitation has been to niche down and focus just on one person. Like if I could just talk to one person for the rest of my life, who would that be? So I really went into the sort of man who's successful on paper, but inside feels empty. And I thought that was a really good idea until I spoke to my coach more deeply. And he's like, does that align with where you are right now? And I actually went and looked at the statistics. Almost 80% of the people who follow me on social media, listen to this podcast, hello, that's you, and who end up working with me as my coaching clients, almost 80% is women. So I had to eat some humble pie and let go of my idea of how things should be and surrender to the fact that for whatever reason, I have the capacity, the invitation, the gift to be in service to women in the work that I'm doing. This clarity allows me to show up more fully for my work, get out of my own way, stop being such a perfectionist, and just do the thing, write the poems, write the songs, work with my clients, show up fully in the world, live this life more aligned and more authentic so that I can be in service to you more fully. That's what this is enabling. And that's how I'm sure that this podcast and all my other sharings and creations across life are going to be more and more in service to you. Let's bring this all to how this serves you. If you are listening to this and you have been playing small, hiding your voice, turning yourself inward instead of blossoming outward, and you're ready to start, or you dream of stepping more into your power and singing more of the song of who you really are, of fruiting more of that unique and delicious, juicy fruit that you came here to bring into life. If that is you, then here is a way that you can begin that journey. It really starts with being willing to show up even if you don't have all the answers. And so the invitation is, what are the things that you love intrinsically and deeply for yourself? What are those things that light you up? And this is one of the first things I do with many of my coaching clients is we work on a deep, what I call purpose work. But I'm wary of saying that because a lot of people misunderstand what purpose means. They think purpose is about what you do. It's really not about what you do. It's about who you actually are. And when you align with who you are, what you do becomes more of a representation of that. As my coaching teacher said from Inner Life Skills, imagine a fruit tree that doesn't know it's a fruit tree. It doesn't need to know it's a fruit tree if it just focuses on what lets its sap rise. What are the things that help its sap to flow, its lifeblood to flow, and then naturally over time, fruit appears. And fruit is the result of that lifeblood flowing, of that nutrient drinking, of that sun inhaling. And so you're the same. You are also a beautiful fruit tree. And so if you can ask yourself, what are those things that light me up? What are those things that make my lifeblood flow? And begin to prioritize those things even just a little more than you have before, and start to practice expanding beyond the comfort zone you currently inhabit. So again, resistance is always going to exist. And there's a beautiful book about this called The War of Art. And he's like, the great enemy of art is resistance. And the bigger the dream, the bigger the beauty, the bigger the creation that wants to come through, the more resistance there will be. One of the most challenging things about becoming more authentic in getting our voices out into the world, sharing who we really are, is that it can often feel super lonely at first because there's a falling away of the old stories, the old dynamics. And sometimes friends don't want to come along on that journey. They are very content with the old you, the you who showed up with all the masks and who was pretending and people pleasing and avoiding and all that stuff. The truth is, though, you are not going to be alone forever, and you're actually not alone. And what's going to start to happen is you start to invite in a more aligned quality of connection. This is not a judgment on those other connections. This is more around resonance. And so the beauty of this journey is one of the great things I've had to learn and continue to learn is that I am not alone, and it's okay to ask for support. And when I do ask for support, when I do step more fully into my authenticity, the people and places and things and experiences I need start to show up around me. That is one of the great and beautiful secrets on this journey. So never fear, you are not alone, and you will experience a lot more depth of connection and community as you progress on this path. So just take that first step. At the end of the day, the reality is that whether you speak up as your authentic self or whether you put on a mask and you pretend and try to fit into the different groups or try to hide yourself to stay safe, people are going to judge you for either one of those. Someone is going to be offended and someone is going to be excited about what you share, whether or not it comes from an authentic place. So why not show up and practice and get out of the comfort zone and be you? Because the beauty of that is that when you fruit your authentic fruit, the kind of bees and birds and butterflies that you attract into your world, and the kind of trees and companions and friends that start to intertwine their roots with yours, empower you and bring more of your beauty through and expand you rather than taking away from you or cutting bits off you or making you hide more parts of yourself. You deserve to shine. You deserve to root deep, to rise high, and to intertwine your beautiful being with those who cherish the true you. It is not an easy path, but it is one worth walking. And I would be honored to walk that path more beside you. We have great podcast episodes coming up in the coming weeks. I am also now sharing what I call activation calls at alreadyfree.me/activation, a 20-minute sacred connection to support you in getting clear on the 3 things that you absolutely need aligned to fully show up, to speak your truth and embody the life you are here to live, no matter what's happening externally. This is not about fixing or forcing. It's really about uncovering the inner space that you want to live from and starting to trust that again. You'll walk away from the call with clarity, grounded next steps, and a deeper sense of what it means to be you, to be seen, heard, respected. So if you feel that gentle yes in your body, trust it. This is where it begins. Thank you so much for being here. It is such an honor to be walking this path with you and remembering together that we are already free. I'll see you next week.